We are live.
That took a really long time.
It did seem a little bit longer than normal. All right, hello and welcome. I'm Ronnke, your GM, and joining me today in order of their character avatars in Fantasy Grounds, we have Nosh, Mel, FX Engineer, Gigaman, and Rigel Kent. Today we embark on our Star Wars campaign titled Vanguard, using the very awesome and versatile GURPS system by Steve Jackson Games. Not everyone can watch the live stream, but worry not. Our sessions are available on YouTube and as audio-only podcasts. You can find the links in the video description. If you find our content appealing and engaging, we kindly request that you show your support by liking this video and subscribing to our Twitch and YouTube channels. Before we dive into the action, does anyone have any character business they'd like to address?
Yes, Darryl is going to put 2 points into brawling.
You brawled?
And
I
he's not
certainly
picking up.
brawled.
He's not going to pick up targeted attack, bite, groin.
Nope. I think I'm just going to put it into brawling.
Chalk that down to as a one-time experience?
Maybe. We'll see.
Weirdo.
You never know when the opportunity is going to present itself.
To bite someone in the groin. Yes, that opportunity. Oh, I look forward to it. Not.
All right. Tina, any character business?
Not right now, no.
Bosco.
Not for today.
Nim.
Not worth mentioning.
And Luck.
No, not at the moment. I couldn't figure out what to spend it on that I could make a legitimate argument for.
Keep them for those flesh wounds.
That's right. I can, right now I can survive 11 flesh wounds.
What happens if your spaceship gets blown up? Can you flesh wound that?
Possibly.
Suppose technically you could.
For 11 rounds, I guess.
Well, no, I think I could make the argument for the ship blew up. I used the flesh wound, so I managed to escape. And now I have however long I can survive in space based off of the stormtrooper armor.
I didn't think stormtrooper armor was vacuum sealed.
Yeah, I think actually it is. It surprised me.
I know it has like pressure support, so you can have it in toxic hostile atmospheres and stuff, but I don't know about vacuum support.
Well, if it has vacuum support, then what the hell's the point of that gigantic space trooper suit?
That's non-canon.
Well,
Is it?
fair
I
enough.
thought it was.
The space troopers? No, we haven't seen them in canon.
Fair enough. I was always under the impression that they were canon. All right, well, let's begin. What's this in the Twitch chat? There you go. The body glove is vacuum sealed.
Yeah, has somebody already beat me to it. Because there's it's capable of protecting its wearer, extreme environments, deserts, forests, icy wastelands, and limited exposure to vacuums of space. Black body glove is vacuum sealed.
Cool. All right. Quick recap. You guys, last session had an encounter with the investigator that has been trying to track down you guys and identify who you are. For the benefit of those watching the stream, I'll bring up those NPCs. PCs. My list is growing.
Our GM, ladies and gentlemen.
So Nara, you met up with her, and she had an offer for you. You would do something for her, rescue someone from the Crimson Corsair pirates. In exchange, she will turn over some information regarding you guys that will be incorrect, but it still has to be somewhat substantial. Otherwise, it'll be known that she's, not doing a job. I believe you agreed to the deal and had set upon getting your stuff ready, fixed. Tina had an awesome session where she was just fixing stuff left, right, and center. By the end of the day, she had everything worked out.
It was super creepy. Mel's not supposed to roll like that.
I know, right?
And the universe didn't implode.
No, everybody else had 17s or 18s.
So you went and fixed your Arc 170 Starfighter, and it was fully functional. I believe all your stuff is fully functional now.
Yep.
You tried to fix some more ion torpedoes. Unfortunately, you could only manage 2 of them. So you need to...
Yeah, Gluck and Bosco weren't that great at it.
Yeah, they spent all their time on it, and unfortunately
We got 2.
didn't get as many as you wanted, but you got 2. So
And that's also where we discovered that Daryl is the only one that can actually
buy
use
them.
the damn things.
So he will potentially be pilot and gunner for these.
Well, the Arc 170 is listed as having a pilot, a gunner, and a tail gunner. So I would think that either the pilot or the co-pilot could fire the torps. Obviously, doesn't matter for the tail gunner because they're just going to be shooting the tail gun.
Oh, we had also determined that the hotshot pilot would also apply to the firing of torpedoes. I believe that was the thing, because it didn't specifically cover it.
I didn't say it didn't cover the artillery thing, but it did explicitly reference gunner.
Oh yeah, gunner, missiles, something.
The only other thing to keep in mind is if one person is doing multiple tasks, then it's a -4 for multitasking, unless it's in the same category. So
It'll
like
be
piloting.
fine.
I'm just
Or
saying
it won't. Oh, no, you're right.
And I think we left it where you guys had fixed all your stuff and were then planning what exactly you were going to do. How are you going to pull this off? You do also have your ship.
That's the great question. So we determined that the ISB agents who are coming in were coming in on, I believe, a Lambda class shuttle which we'd also determined based off of the game. Those things are freaking heavily armed. Too much surprise. But I believe the intent was we were going to try to disable it and then board and neutralize the pilot/crew and then pretend to be them. And if the 2 torps did not work, then our next step was blow it up. And then we'll blow it up, and then we'll try to figure out how to pull Ronin out physically another way.
I will get a roll. If anyone has like pilot starship, make an IQ based pilot roll. This is to
Starship.
sorry, pilot high performance starship. IQ based roll. This is to see if you know some specific details about the Lambda shuttle.
It's already IQ based.
Is it? I thought
No,
it's
it's
Dex
not.
based.
Piloting is
Dex
dex-based.
Oh, damn it! I was looking at mechanic. Ah.
All right, so both Daryl and Nim, more so Daryl, you're a lot more familiar with this. You will know that the Lambda shuttle, it doesn't have an airlock or anything like that, but the cockpit is detachable and can serve as an escape pod in situations that require it. So you might want to consider that in your approach to hijacking this thing.
Daryl will share that information.
You will, of course, have to do a spacewalk to board this shuttle after you've disabled it.
That depends entirely on how clever we are.
I can't think of any other way unless that Shrieker thing has like a boarding thing. I don't know what that would be called. Not boarding tube. I guess it would be a boarding tube, wouldn't it?
It does not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Right.
So-
Well, our current plan is to fly right up to the damn thing and start shooting. Because I'm not exactly sure how we sneak up on the damn thing.
I'm wondering if Tina can do some of her magic
It's a scene
and get
change.
us some codes. Some I don't know, like I'm thinking of like the I did watch Ashoka once, the first episode where the quote unquote
sorry.
Jedi were coming in. Well, my whole point is that they gave them some, hey, here's our codes, even though they were old, and they let them board the ship. So maybe we can try to come up with some, codes or permissions or whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
in this case, I don't think that would necessarily work as well because these guys are. This ship is not that big.
Well, it's a legitimate idea to give them a false identity, and that would be a thing. But the issue here is they're on a prisoner pickup, and they're not expecting to be approached by anybody. So we'd still have to have an excuse.
And then you
But if-
will be jamming comms and stuff like that, so that's probably going to put them on alert.
But it might be enough to bluff our way to get close enough. I mean, that's the whole point of having skills, I think, right? We try. If it works, it works. Or if it doesn't, then I guess we get blown out of space. I mean, we're like, hey, we're here for a prisoner drop off or pickup, and they're like, well, we don't have you on, on our schedule. And we're like, well, I'm sorry, last minute thing. Here's our
Well-
access codes, and they're like, oh, okay, well, approach while we're checking into it, and then that gives us a chance to get closer.
This is your lander shuttle. It's not really designed to be doing mid-space pickups and stuff. You need to land that thing to change over, personnels.
So I'm looking at the system Fanta system image, and that's where you've got the 4 planets and I guess an asteroid belt.
Yes.
Where is the shuttle arriving at?
It'll be arriving at the sort of jump-in point for the planet itself.
Which is where?
There really isn't a jump-in point in Star Wars, though. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like Traveler Jump.
You do have your hyperspace routes, so they'll be following hyperspace routes, which take them to jump-in points. So they can.
I'm assuming those are just regular navigation points.
Well, they're nav points, yes. It's probably
not a place where you jump in like a jump point.
Right. So they're just exit points on the hyperspace route.
Okay.
It's like an exit on a highway.
Where is that in conjunction to Asakura, or Lokia?
Let me bring up the
or
system map.
The asteroid belt, because we could loiter near one of those to monitor for the arrival.
All right, so there's your system map. I guess if you wanted to monitor for the arrival,
obviously, preferably without attracting as much attention as possible.
Right, so if they arrive, they're actually going to arrive near Fantine itself.
Okay,
so
follow-up question. Follow-up question I have there is, what kind of starship assets does the Empire actually have at Fantine? Obviously, the question ultimately boils down to, hey, we engage, we're unable to jam them. How long do we have until Imperial reinforcements show up and we have to blow up more stuff?
They have TIE fighters on Fantine, so in the event of things turning to hell, TIEs will be launched and then they will intercept. And I think a squadron is 12, or might be 8.
That's what it is in the real world. It kind of fluctuates in Star Wars. I mean, they'll say like, hey, yeah, we're gonna send a squadron, and you'll see 4, and be like, wait, what?
Yeah, I think a squadron is 12 in Star Wars because the Star Destroyers have 3 squadrons, so a complement of 36 fighters, TIE fighters, something like that. Don't quote me on it, but yeah, we'll say they have a squadron, whatever that squadron is, so up to 12, whatever.
Yeah, the most common makeup for a starfighter squadron is 12.
That's what I have in my head canon, so we'll go with that, unless demonstrated otherwise.
No,
Okay.
I just wish they would actually have done it more. I mean, the one real time you actually see them deploying the amount of TIE fighters they should is the Rogue One movie.
So their point of entry is going to be in orbit-ish of Fantine. So they're going to be in plain sight, and there's not going to be anything we can hide behind.
Correct.
Wow, with that in mind, pretending to be the ISB guys just isn't going to work. Then we're just going to have to destroy the Lambda.
Well, they don't have any space assets, so there's no
TIE fighters are space assets.
right, but they're not in space all the time.
They don't have a cap, running.
Not ordinarily.
Ooh, these guys are terrible.
Well, but it's not exactly going to take them a long time to break Atmo.
That's true. It's like stupid, ridiculously fast in Star Wars. I mean, think of how fast I want to say episode 2. Yeah, episode 2 with Dooku when he's like sitting down and bam, suddenly he's in orbit. It's like, whoa.
Well,
you kind of get an idea in Andor. There's that scene where they chase them. They're in orbit pretty quick.
Well, even now, getting to orbit is not exactly all that time consuming. But the issue here being, we've got no way to ambush them at the point of entry. We have to basically leave the planet to get to them and catch them by surprise somehow. And by the point that we've been spotted, they will call for help.
This
So
is a
you
terrible
need
plan. Who came up with this plan? Oh, right, the GM came up with this plan.
the GM suggested it. Well,
GM.
Nara suggested it.
Oh, right, Bosco's girlfriend came up with this plan.
Well, how about, I'm assuming there's other spacecraft that have reason to be flying in the area, and they're not going to get suspicious or worry unless we get within a certain range. So, I mean, couldn't we play that angle somehow?
This is Star Wars. Ships come and go undetected all the time. They only get detected if there's a blockade.
How do you know that?
Because that's how you see it in every Star Wars show.
Just because nobody says, hey, there's a ship there, doesn't mean they weren't detected.
So what we need to do is we need to have Tina, unconsciously use the Force and cloak us from view. It'll only take all of her character points and possibly cause her to pass out.
Sorry, she's too busy cutting up furniture with her shiny new toy.
Not on one of the ships, I hope.
Oops.
At least the Ark has ECM, so you can mask your sensor signal or sensor image to a certain degree.
And Tina was super, super depressed when we painted it all black.
I know, right? So we have this option, which is try to go in, do a spacewalk, board them, take over their ship. What's our other option?
Well,
blow them up and find a way to get dude out before the next group of ISB dudes show up.
Honestly,
GM,
if we were going to do that, we could just skip the shuttle altogether and just go in and do that.
Can I intuition this? Tina's kind of sitting there listening to them argue, and
I don't know if we have enough ideas to actually warrant it yet.
no, it can be it's a choice between two options. So
Yeah, but well, let me throw this out there. What if instead of launching the torpedoes, we put them in orbit and basically fire them by remote? They might get missed as junk.
I don't know if that is something you can do in Star Wars.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very Star Wars-ish. That sounds more Expanse-ish.
Yeah, but it might work.
It might. But I don't think the weapon systems have remotes anyway.
Yeah, remember they're really weird schizotech. It's like World War II tech, but in space.
They had remote weapons in World War II. And no, it obviously won't come with that sort of thing. You'd have to make it.
Here's a thing. Is this tactics or strategy?
I think you can use both since the number of parties involved are below a certain number.
Well, obviously, I would want to use tactics, not strategy, because I have strategy land, not strategy space.
I don't think strategy applies here.
And my tactics skill is 3 points higher than my strategy skill. But yeah, because I'm reading through the tactics thing, and it specifically has that. Wait, where did I just see that? It might allow you to start in a advantageous position.
Mm.
Oh, that's personal combat. I need to remember that. Oh, that's if also
I will.
anytime you had time to prepare.
While I remember, you can make a tactics roll for your planning points.
Wow, that was garbage.
So that's one planning point.
Well, we may need it. One other offering here is to spoof the base communications to the shuttle and direct them to land somewhere other than the base. How we get them to do that is a whole nother thing, but that's a possibility, and then you can jump them on land.
You do know that there are certain entities that operate in the asteroid field, both pirates and legitimate contractors that are mining asteroids and stuff. So there are locations within the asteroid field that you could go to if you had to do that.
The difficulty I foresee there is they would want codes. It'd be like, hey, yeah, you're being redirected to location X, and they're like, all right, transmit your authorization code for this.
Yeah, I didn't say it'd be easy.
Yeah, so when commanding a small unit, roll against tactics to place your troops correctly for an ambush. Know where to post sentries, etc. At the GM's option, a successful roll might even provide clues as to immediate enemy plans to outmaneuver enemy units, which is what I think we'd be wanting to do there. You must win a quick contest of tactics with their leader. All of this only applies when you lead a group small enough that you can give each warrior orders personally or through at most one subordinate. Thus, radio and similar technologies can greatly enhance your combat abilities or command abilities. Yeah. But yeah.
But I think loitering in spot, watching sensors, soon as they arrive, so you could stay out of immediate sensor range, so that they don't identify you. So I don't know what range that would be. Then you could be jamming communications. So as soon as they arrive, their communications will fail. If you if you let them communicate to Fantine to let them know that they have arrived, and then all of a sudden, it takes them a lot longer than expected to arrive at Fantine, then TIE fighters might be launched, especially since they'll try and contact the shuttle and they'll get no reply because you're jamming. So you'd want to have your comms jamming up and running before they arrive.
We've got 2 people that can actually pilot. Is that correct? Daryl and Nim.
Yeah, Daryl can pilot.
Well, we know
I thought most of us can pilot.
I can't pilot.
Tina can pilot contragrav.
I can do contragrav and flight pack.
Well, it's kind of up to the GM here. So if the GM wants to say roll tactics and then you set up an ambush, however we get there, then we can just skip all the planning and go straight to the ambush, however we did it.
But, well, the reason I was asking about the piloting is we're going to need to take both of the ships. We need to take the ARC 170 and the Shrieker, because I'm going to need to deploy probably on the Shrieker to do the boarding action. And I guess Tina's our jamming person, so she's probably going to need to be on the ARC, possibly as the co-pilot, which leaves Bosco to maybe be the tail gunner and Nim the Shrieker pilot.
Yeah, so what is the required complement of the shuttle? Is it 2?
The absolute required is 1, but that's for the shuttle. But I think it's pilot and co-pilot normally.
We're going to need 3 pilots because somebody's got to fly the shuttle, and then somebody's got to fly our 2 vehicles back.
Yeah, we need more bodies, don't we? It's looking more and more like we just need to blow the damn shuttle up because it's like, oh crap, we need more people.
Yeah, but again, if we're going to blow the shuttle up and then just go in and come up with a plan B, we might as well just start with the plan B.
Blowing up the shuttle would probably give us a little more time because they'd have to, we're on a timeline of trying to beat the shuttle there. Whereas if we blow up the shuttle, then they just don't make their time and they have to call another shuttle in. So it gives us a little more wiggle room.
Yeah, I guess that would work. But then you'd have to work out how to get into the Imperial facility.
So I suppose that would be a point of that you could use the intuition on, is whether or not to ignore the shuttle and break in, or try to take out the shuttle.
And then the GM, glances over at his space battle notes and says, "That's the right answer."
Probably.
Yeah. So we basically got 3 options. We go with Nara's plan. We go with blow up the shuttle and try to break in, and then we've got ignore the shuttle and try to break in.
I suppose that's true.
Okay.
Which ones are good and which ones are bad?
How good are Bosco's BS skills?
Not what's that? What was that word?
World class.
I mean, I'm continental class. I've got a 14 in my fast talk, and
That's pretty darn good.
plus +2 for my other thing, my charisma.
No, that's lots. Those are good odds.
All right.
And
So
I have luck. Use that.
Yep.
okay. So GM, can I roll intuition for the 3-ish options that we've got?
So the 3 options are frontal assault.
Nara's plan, blow the shuttle up and break in, or ignore the shuttle and break in. So there's 3.
So it's capture the shuttle, blow up the shuttle, or ignore the shuttle.
Okay, now I need to decide which one's the best.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's easy. You glance it over to see what your notes are for this session, and go, that's the best.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have any notes.
Oh yeah.
So there's got to be some context to your intuition, because you have a couple of or at least one option avoids combat. The other options require combat.
I don't think any of them avoids combat.
Well, potentially avoids combat. So, it really depends on the outcome that you want. Because at this point, the GM doesn't know which option is best for you.
Well, the optimal outcome would be that A, What's-His-Nuts is rescued successfully and is not immediately picked up again afterward. And B, we are not implicated in the rescue of him.
Oh, we're totally going to be implicated.
Well, your unknown group will be implicated post any sort of thing. But in terms of identifying stuff, if you start talking your way in, trying to bullshit your way in, then Bosco's going to be identified at the very least.
Depending.
Yeah, I mean, if it's
that guy that tried to bullshit his way into the thing and walked out with the prisoner, they'll at least have a face. And then, since Bosco's famous, it won't take long to put a face to a name.
Well, we just need to dress him up like a raccoon man.
Or, I guess Bosco really does not like the Imperials at all. He's willing to sacrifice his quote unquote life or career, not life or dying, but in terms of his business and all that stuff, and give that up and go into hiding and just go in with the rebellion full time.
Technically, the rebellion hasn't officially been formed yet.
Yeah. Or whatever we have going on with.
But that would clash with his greed.
Maybe he'll just go full on mercenary and embrace his dark side.
I guess you could also potentially use contacts for information. You know where the shuttle's coming from. So,
well, we're not exactly lacking information here.
So you could find out when the shuttle the exact time the shuttle is due to arrive.
Also, I want to double check something really quickly. We could. I'm not sure how anybody would know this information, but I'm wondering if the shuttle, if it's using the hyperlanes, that means it's doing a number of jumps. It's going from point A to point B, and then point B to point C, and such like that.
Oh, you're thinking
so
intercept somewhere else.
intercept it outside of Fantine at the before it makes the jump to Fantine.
Okay, so that would be. Let me bring up the
But I
map.
don't know who would know. I was looking at the contact list, and I don't know who we would learn that from.
Well, you could. I think you
Well,
know
you could piece
where.
that together if you knew where they were coming from.
Didn't she tell us where they were coming from?
And I don't
Yes.
remember if she did. I mean, specifically, the shuttle is coming
Jim just
from
said-
where?
Jim just said she did, so
You know where the shuttle's. Well, you don't necessarily know where it's coming from, but you know where it's going to.
Yeah,
It's
that's
going
not
to.
the point. The point is where it's coming from will tell us how it's going to get here.
But they will be using the hyperspace lanes, and I think Kalinda is the entry point to get to Fantine. So I guess you could intercept at Kalinda.
What's there?
it is an astronomical object located in the mid-rim. Wow, it doesn't exactly give you a lot of information there, does it? Kalinda system. Okay. 6 planets, dispersed asteroid belt, 1 planet, habitable Karima, strategically located between corporate sector. Oh wait, this is clearly Legends.
There's nothing, as far as I can see, there's nothing major there.
Well, if we're going to go to fisticuffs, that'd probably be a better place to do it.
6 planets. Let's see if there's
hey,
anything on the planets.
Hold on. It actually references an old West End Games source book I have.
Uh-huh.
Hold on. Let me quickly try to find that puppy.
Yeah, here's hoping it doesn't come apart in your hands.
No doubt. Ironically, I remember using this one a lot too.
Okay, so this is canon. Oh, canon and legends. The planet Karima. Kirima is a lone habitable planet in the Kalinda system. The capital is Verena City, and it is the headquarters of a manufacturing and export company. There is nothing significant other than that.
Well, that sounds like
At
our
least
best
until
bet.
after the Battle of Endor. So you could do that. You could intercept at Kalinda if you wanted to.
I vote for that. Because both of the vessels have hyperspace capability.
So that makes it less observed. We still have issues with the ambush, but we can hand wave that. Then we still need to get... so we're going to have to take people alive in there so we can get codes. And we're going to have to actually get those codes.
Yes, it will be important to disable it.
I will try to take people alive. I'm not going to guarantee anything. Is Nim capable of hyperspace calculation stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not super good at it.
It'll be fine. So let's go to Kalinda and blow up a shuttle. I mean, capture a shuttle.
Sure.
So then that means Bosco will have to be dressed up like a ISB agent, and probably Tina too.
I wanted to throw it out there. Bosco is trained in navigation, space and hyperspace navigation. Just some stuff he picked up along his smuggling career. And he has very basic piloting skills. Like he knows how to go on autopilot, but he doesn't really know how to do any fancy maneuvers. Right. But he can fly from point A to point B. But he is trained in navigation.
I'm a decent pilot. Hyperspace nav. I can do. I've got 10, so it's possible if I take my time, I can get us there. Side note: what I'm thinking is, if we successfully take the shuttle, what we're probably going to want to do is take the fighter. Put the people in the fighter that aren't going in the shuttle, and then have the shuttle shoot up the pirate ship and leave it.
Okay. Not a terrible idea.
Hate to lose it, but well, we didn't exactly pay for it, so.
You don't necessarily need to shoot it up.
Well,
what's the benefit of shooting it up?
They were shot up. It looked more involved.
Yeah, you could just park it into deep space, get the coordinates, and go pick it up later. Park it on an asteroid.
I don't mean to pick it up later. I mean to leave it as evidence.
Righto. Gotcha.
Yeah, we could do that. We can also still do the park it in deep space, and then come back if we don't end up needing to use it as evidence. But if we do have it as evidence, we can always point in that direction. Right. Okay. So it sounds like we have
plan is forming
12% of a plan. So let's jump into it without bothering for the other math is hard. Was that 88%?
78%. No, 88. Yeah, math is hard.
The other 90%.
It'll be fine.
Wait,
right.
did you never do her intuition thing that she wanted to do?
I mean, it sounds like we don't need it now. We have an option, like something 12%. That sounds good. Yeah.
Cool.
Good, because the GM didn't know which option was better.
Now you have to roll. Just to go, okay, GM.
Just to mess with him.
Just turns out, surprisingly, the best option is the one that you just 12%ed. All right, so intercepting at Kalinda.
Gonna try.
All right, so I'm assuming, who's in what ships? So type it into the chat, which, let me create a note.
I think we were going to end up with Nim and Tina in the Shrieker.
No, Tina's our jam chick. She's going to be in the Ark. It's going to be Nim and Luck in the Shrieker.
Okay, so the fighter disables the shuttle, and then we come in to board.
Unless the two shots miss, in which case we come in to help.
Right.
All right, so who's on the Ark?
I think we got Daryl as the pilot, probably Tina as the co-pilot / jamming. I don't know what that thing is. And then Bosco on the tail gun. Do you have you got gunner beams, right, Bosco?
No.
No.
Can make it work. If we need the beams, it's already gone bad anyway. Do we not need Daryl to be the co-pilot? Well, I guess, can the pilot gun the
Yeah, as far as
torps?
I know, I don't know. I don't see why not.
It would be weird if he couldn't.
Well, not that. Yeah, that does bring to mind. Can the pilot on an Apache fire the weapons?
Well, that's a
Yes.
completely different situation.
They can. The gunner
Sure
can
about
actually fly it too.
Well, I know the gunner can fly it, but I don't know that the pilot can gun.
Yes, the pilot can gun.
As long as it's connected to the crew station where he's at.
Yeah,
I've done a lot of hours in the DCS Apache, so
kind of figured. But I don't think that's always true. Like, it may be true of an Apache, but it's not necessarily true of, say, a Tomcat, which is also in DCS.
yeah, I don't have that much experience in Tomcat. I don't think the co-pilot can fire weapons. I think that's all pilot.
Actually, looking at the ARC 170, it says the ARC 170 was manned by a crew of 3 clone operators: a pilot, a forward gunner who operated the wingtip mounted lasers, and a tail gunner who operated the rear mounted cannons. Fighter also carried an astromech droid to perform onboard repairs and navigation. It was also possible for the pilot to operate the wingtip laser cannons if a co-pilot wasn't available.
There you go.
All right, so do I have that correct in the list there?
Luck's not going to be a co-pilot. At best, he'd be a gunner.
Yeah, whatever.
Gunner
He's
/
the other guy.
boarding team. But yeah.
Righto. Okay.
All right, extra. Sweet.
What's next?
We get them.
Now what's next is we roll a bunch of 17s and the stupid thing escapes and we go, crap, what now?
Well, we don't want to be inconsistent now, do we?
That's true.
So you roll your hyperspace navigation and fly into a star.
No, it won't be that like that. It's like we'll get into the void fight, and Daryl will roll a 17 on the first torpedo thing, so that thing won't come close to hitting. And then he'll roll another 17 on the second one, and we're like, crap.
No, I'll probably do an 18 and we'll blow ourselves up.
All right, so I don't need the Fantine system map.
No, now you need the Kalinda map. Where's the Kalinda map, Brian? Come on.
Bite me. Black hole appears right next to you.
Space rocks fall. Everyone dies.
Right. Screen's organized. Let's do this. Right. So first up, I'll need a pilot space roll, or pilot starship roll from each of you. And I'll need a navigation hyperspace.
Well, my pilot seems to have taken a breather. He's up there going, okay, I think I do it this way.
Well, trying to fail.
Yeah, you guys have all the the navigation hyperspace stuff on the Ark, because I think Daryl, Tina, and Bosco are good at or competent with that.
Well, we can share that information, can we not?
You can.
This is why we need an astromech droid. Wait, no, I'm never going to say that. Luck doesn't like astromechs because it's a droid.
You need to have R5.
Would it be reasonable to assume that there's some sort of bonus to gunnery skill from the targeting systems?
I believe.
Probably a nav computer as well.
I believe that's all taken into account.
Okay, I'll look in the spacecraft.
FX is going crap, crap, crap. I'm not going to hit anything with this tail gun.
Well, you'd only be using the tail gun if someone's following you, and you don't want to be in a situation where someone's following you because then something's gone wrong.
What are you talking about? We're going to get out there and there's going to be like a crap ton of ties for some reason.
Moff Panaka wants to make sure that this prisoner is picked up without any problem.
Moff Panaka is on the shuttle. What a twist!
Wouldn't that be funny?
We arrive in the middle of an ongoing space battle.
But
Make it so.
there is a little bit of a twist. You'll find out soon enough.
Right. You apparently need to make a pilot check there, Daniel.
And I guess you can use Daryl's navigation.
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback on that. Wow.
All right, there's no crashing. There's no running into stars. You will light speed to the Kalinda system. I guess you're going to loiter at the sort of entry point to the what are they called? Hyperspace lane or route? Hyperspace lane or route? I think it's route.
I think that is probably what we were going to do, yeah.
And I guess you will be doing active ECM to mask your signatures. So that is, if you have the skill electronics operation EW, you can make a roll.
Mel dice.
Tina does not have that one.
I thought you had that one.
Nope. She's got communications and force shields. She has
Yeah, any
electronics
leftover points?
repair EW.
Yeah.
Darrell doesn't have that skill either.
Uh-huh.
Well, then you can roll it on default.
Good thing you're smart. And you got smart people with you.
So that defaults to
Let's see, IQ -5, electronics repair, same -5, engineer electronics -5. Does this also, do they default to each other?
No, I don't think they do.
Ah, they do. They default to one another at -4, within reason.
So comms would probably be within reason.
Yeah, that'll work.
Oh, fun. Okay, 13 minus 4.
Well, I guess you could take your time.
Yep, you're
Yeah,
one up
you're
on Tina. She's only got a 12.
All right, GM. Well, Darrell will take his time. Perhaps knowing that he might have to do this, he would have taken time.
Okay.
So what shall we say? Does that bring the modifier down to -2 or?
Well, it depends on how much extra time you're taking. I will assume you can take up to the full +5. So roll and see how much you need.
What's the base time?
It doesn't say.
Oh, it'll only rarely actually say.
I think the base time is going to be
I'd just be
the
like
space
really
combat turns.
That's probably reasonable.
booyah!
Good God.
There we go.
4. You didn't need
Nice.
no time. You're like, I know how to do this. You push this button that says raspberry jam.
Yeah, well, that's not going to end up being a critical success. It'll just be a success.
No, 3 and 4 are always criticals.
The 4 wasn't if you don't have enough.
No, 3 and 4 are
but,
always
I might be
criticals.
wrong about that.
So that's a critical success.
There's a part of me that really wants to look that up, and the other part of me knows I shouldn't.
He's a leaf in the wind.
All right, so you are successfully masking your signature. So you have the EW systems on the Arc Fighter doing their job. You're not actually jamming communications at this point, but you are making yourself a very difficult sense of contact.
Tina will take the time and go ahead and start prepping for signal jamming. Go ahead and have everything ready to go. I don't know if that would count towards extra time or not, since we're going to be waiting.
Let me bring up Phil's really awesome map.
I'm not sure if Bosco can because he is a tail gunner. I don't know if you have access to that. With regards to Bosco's point about maybe trying to perform comm roles.
right?
But I'm not positive. It may be something that is doable.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess if the tail gun is like a little hot seat that I jump into.
Yeah, there's
It's
probably crawl
it is
space where you can go back
literally
and forth.
now. It is literally a tail gunner position. It's you're facing the back. Oh, hey, here we go. Hold on.
Where's my tokens?
I was just about to look for something like that. Yeah, this is set up like a World War II bomber, looks like. So there you can probably move around back and forth between them.
Not much, because you do see
Not
that
easily,
in
but you can.
yeah. Now we're trying to figure out how do you use this again? Yeah, it's like you asked for this this thing, Brian. I was like, I was looking at him going, how did I use this again?
I don't think you you only need your ship on this. I think. Well, no,
I
no,
think the
you'll
deal
need
is
both.
You don't need your ship on this.
So that would be the target, and the target is advantaged.
Right. That's if he's behind you.
Or if you're behind them, then
I guess.
Advantage is just you've outmaneuvered it in some way. It could be like you're above it, you're below it, whatever.
all right. Well, we have both tokens there if needed.
So, at the risk of opening up a can of worms, so they're going to pop in here. Then their plan is to jump to Fantine. So, how long do they need once they pop in here to actually make those calculations and go to hyperspeed or light speed or whatever it is?
Well, I think they have a few minutes to calculate
Usually.
light speed, and then they need to get to the entry point to the hyperspace lane.
Remember, traveling through hyperspace isn't like dust and crops.
So you'll be loitering around the entry point to the Fantine system, and apparently they're not going to be able to detect you. Alright, so we'll go to the start of space combat.
Yeah, in the engagement, you have ambush and surprise. Contest of tactics, whatever. Vessels on an ambush side will have surprise crews. And the GM may also rule that the encounter will take place at a shorter distance than usual. The scale itself is going to depend on their or the
We'll
vessels, their velocities.
We'll be doing the on standard scale 20 seconds.
Okay. So typical engagement range is 200 to 20,000 miles, which we know is flat out wrong in Star Wars because they are always within visual range in Star Wars.
Actually, there is the close combat scale.
20 to 2,000 miles.
Okay, so let's use the close combat scale, and it is still 20 seconds.
Okay, turn length, that is 20 seconds.
What are our speeds? Like how fast can we go?
I think your speed is, well, according to
Quick,
the...
I know. Let's look in the vehicles thing and pull up the. Oh wait. Sorry, Nim. I just killed us both with a errant black hole.
Yeah, you need to stop that.
That share?
I don't see anything. Who are you
I'm
sharing it with?
assuming
Someone?
not.
Oh, hey,
there's
I
a
do
thing.
see something now.
So according to the Wikipedia, you're at 2000. You have 2,600 G acceleration, but I don't know how accurate that is. I don't think there's any reference to speeds in Star Wars anyway.
Yeah,
That
I
doesn't
they,
look
they,
right.
What doesn't look right?
Was it not supposed to be acceleration first and then top speed?
No, that's your space G and then atmospheric speed.
Oh, right. Okay, they do it different.
Right. That's from the complete cross sections. Yeah. So I'm firmly of the opinion they're just making crap up because
Mhm.
we don't actually see any of this speed except when they are leaving leaving Atmo and going into space or going from space to Atmo. Otherwise, it just looks like World War II planes with their speeds.
It happens at the speed of plot.
Yep.
But yeah, Wikipedia has 2,600 G, which is like insane. I think that's faster than Star Trek's Impulse.
Well, on the bright side, the Lambda is only capable of 1,400 Gs, so we're faster.
So I guess it's relative.
Now the stream's gonna get bored as we try to remember how to use the spaceships combat stuff. Right, surprise crews, that would be for the Lambda. If the vessel's crews are surprised, he blows. Some crew may be in the wrong place, for example, not at their action stations. Although in this case, I'm not sure how that would really apply.
It would be... I will say you can approach from an advantaged position.
Yeah, that probably works best. So space combat is fought in a series of space combat turns that range from 20 seconds to 10 minutes long. You said this is 20 seconds?
Correct.
Each spacecraft takes its turn in sequence till all vessels are okay. Sequence in which spacecraft act is up to the GM.
We'll do the default
Default
order.
starting is the speed of each pilot who was controlling each vessel at the start of the battle. If pilots have the same speed, the lowest SM spacecraft goes first.
That would... You both have the same size modifier, so...
Break further ties with a die roll.
We'll use your speed.
Yeah, you know what's really funny is, like, if you think about that, that's really kind of potentially broken, because if you have a guy who's like basically the dude who's flying the Star Destroyer, and he has a base speed of 8, and up against the X-wing guy who's got a 6. How the hell does the Star Destroyer go first? Oh well.
All right, so the tasks we have command tasks, engineering, navigation, pilot, electronics operation, and gunnery. And we'll do them in that order. So command tasks is one character, is the commanding officer. I guess that's going to be Luck.
Whoever has leadership.
Yeah, that would make sense for Luck to do that.
Yes. So, okay, yeah. So I could do. Then I can do the tactics there.
I don't necessarily need him for co-pilot.
Well, we're not necessarily engaging at first, right?
I'm assuming we're just station keeping, but we'll be there in case we're needed.
All right, so you may do your command task.
Right. Right. Yeah. Sorry.
So you can do
action,
leadership,
turn.
motivate, ship handling, or tactics.
Yeah, I'm looking through there. See what those do. I don't think leadership is that particularly useful in this case. I'm not going to use motivate because that would be ship handling. Ship
So you
handling,
really only
space
have
tactics.
tactics.
And that is a success by 2, so I may choose offensive tactics, reduce the target's dodge. I'm going to use offensive tactics and reduce the target's dodge by 1. Although thinking that through, is that going to only apply to Nim?
I don't know why it wouldn't apply to everybody.
Yeah, it'll apply to everyone because you'll be saying, all right, you need to come in from the flank, whatever, in the blind spot, engage there, and the lambdas their sensors are really weak at the stern, so you'll do stuff like that.
Yep.
All right, so we have engineering tasks. So that would have to be, that could only be done by Tina.
It's appropriate for that right now.
Or, well,
Are
it
we
could
in
only be.
combat?
You will be. So I think you're going to be at an advantage position. Engineering tasks. So you have increase power, allocate power. I think we can ignore that one for the moment. Navigation tasks.
Point of order. You said you're using the close scale. The shortest it is 0, point blank, close, and short.
So you'll start at short. And I'll move them into the center.
And for the gunners, you'll note I actually put the range modifiers on this. I was pretty happy with this, and we used it one time.
Well, it's getting used again.
Yay! 2 times. How many years in between?
Many.
Yep.
All right, so navigation tasks. You have tactical navigation, which can give you a +1 to the pilot skill. You're not doing any FTL. So the only real task for the navigator is a successful electronics ops sensor or navigation space skill will give the pilot a +1 to skill.
Okay, is that me or Nim or who's rolling that?
The navigator, whoever's rolling the navigator
It'll be Tina.
station. Yeah. And
I'm
it's
assuming, at this point, I'm assuming the Shrieker is not entering into combat because you don't want to destroy the shuttle. You want to board it, right?
So I am planning on keeping up, and I will be there to wingman if we need me to wingman, but I'm assuming that that's not going to happen.
Okay, so for the purpose of combat, you're not going to be
There we go.
involved.
Hey,
All right.
the first
I'm back, baby.
17.
All right, so you do not give the pilot a +1 to his roll.
Do you happen to have a handling rating for the Shrieker?
Let's see. I did not do the Shrieker.
What?
So it's probably going to be 2-4 because you're the same size modifier and everything as the Arc.
That's cheating, but I'll take it.
So sensor tasks. You need to, whoever's doing the sensors, in this case will be Tina or perhaps Bosco. Does Bosco have electronics ops sensors?
No, I have comms. Comms, electronics operations comms is all I have.
Okay, so if Tina's doing this, this is going to be at -4.
Tina does not
It
have
says-
ops for sensors either. She's got comms and 4 shields, and that's it.
Sorry, -2. Navigation and sensors are closely related, so it's only -2. So you don't have electronics ops sensors?
Tina does not, no.
All right, so
Who
Daryl
actually?
would have
Who
it.
actually?
Yeah,
You know-
Daryl has electronic ops sensors.
All right, so you will be at -4 to do this because piloting is your primary task.
And you don't have to, right? I mean, he could choose to do one or the other or none or both.
Right, but he'll need to fly.
Yeah, he
So-
can't not pilot.
So I'm piloting or I'm doing electronics op or both.
You're doing both because the others don't have the skill.
So
Yeah,
I'm at
you
mine.
don't have to.
So I'm at -4 for the electronic ops sensors.
Yes.
You're at -4 to whichever you want to do second. So like you do your whatever your main task is, and any additional task is at a -4.
Okay, here we go.
But you don't have to do a comms. Or
Well, you do need to detect them. You get a +5 for the size modifier, so you're at succeed by 2 so far. You're at was it short range?
Establish a range.
I think we established short range.
That's the max, but if you're, I'm trying to confirm that.
So you're at -4, so you'll be at -2, and your sensors give you let me see, where's your sensor suite? I think it's +7. Yes, +7.
+7 to which?
Your thing. So you succeed by... You'll succeed.
Okay.
I don't know the exact amount you'll succeed by, but you'll succeed because you'll be at +5, +7, -8.
Well, I think we already know they're there, so we're not trying to detect them. We're maybe trying to get more detailed
Well, you
information
still need to detect them.
You need to pick them up on the sensors so you can target them. But side note, you know how on the party sheet there's the thing where it will collect everybody's inventory and output how many of what the group has. We need that for skills.
Yeah, D&D has that, and it's quite useful.
Does it?
Yeah, the GM
we need to add that.
The GM can actually roll off the skills as well. So if the GM wants to roll perceptions for everyone secretly, the GM could do that.
Well, it'd be nice for the GM to be able to look at the party sheet and say, "Oh, nobody has that skill."
And they can do that too. So, all right. So you will have succeeded in detecting them, and you will identify them. They have a Imperial transponder, and lo and behold, it is Shuttle Tidarium. Apparently, this shuttle gets stolen and captured and stolen a few times in the Star Wars canon.
It's very bad luck.
Alright, so the next task is the pilot task. You have a closing maneuver. Controlled drift. I don't think that's anything that you'll be doing. Evasive action, hold course, and retreat. So you'll probably want to be doing a closing maneuver.
And there are two strategies on the closing, which is dedicated, where you get a +3 on the pilot check, but you can't dodge until your next turn. And the other is ambush. You may use this option against a target that performed hold course or a closing maneuver on its last turn, but only if your vessel was not yet detected.
I'm going to assume that they are holding course and you are not detected.
Okay.
So your sensors, you'll get the same. You'll be at +5, +7. So what's that? You're at +12, and then you're -8 for the range.
So made it by 0.
So you will pick them up on your scope as well.
Otherwise, use the normal closing rules. What are the closing rules? You must accelerate fast enough to receive an acceleration bonus or be making a fast pass.
Contest of pilots.
Yes. Otherwise, success for me requires winning a quick contest of pilots with the target's pilot. You both add maneuver modifiers. So, however, if he picked the ambush one, then the effects of both your own and your target's acceleration bonus are halved for the thing. Oh my God, 2,600. What the hell is that in bonus?
What are we? Close scale, 22nd. It's 10G per +2. Page 55. So every 10 Gs of acceleration gives us a
So
+2.
you're saying Daryl has a plus 260 to this roll.
We'll do it relative G's.
But
So-
he's got a plus 260. I've never seen anything like that.
So we'll say you have a +4 versus their +2.
And
That makes me sad.
and does the handling of this ship
Yep.
do anything with that?
It adds to your roll.
So what's the +4 that you're giving me? What's that about?
The acceleration bonus of your ship.
Deceleration bonus?
Acceleration.
+4. All right.
So you'll be at total of +6 to your roll.
He should be at plus 262.
I'm not doing math like that.
That would be
Wow.
awesome, though. Margin crit by 16. Nice roll, dude.
Okay, so they're at +2. Where's my thing?
I wonder if Mel's dice actually are dependent on Nosh being here.
There's some hoodoo going on, I'm telling you.
So they succeed by 6.
So he beat him by 10, in which case he may combine advantage and an attack vector. So we will still be advantaged next round. What's an attack vector do?
It means, I think, that we can attack. It's on page 57. For range.
Oh, right. So he'd have to, once we get in, well, does that put us at close? I think that puts us at close.
So the
Well,
example there.
Because the
It depends
closest
on the
scale, attack vector is close.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you'll be there, -4. All right, so the next task is weapons fire. Now this will happen simultaneously. They get to shoot at you, and you
They
get
know
to
we're
shoot
here?
at them. Yeah, cool. I will actually roll for that. So they're going to
Because we got
be
the
at a
hick 'em going.
similar. So they're -2 because of your ECM plus your roll. So they're at okay, so they will have detected you.
Boo. Hey, Daniel.
Yes.
You need to make a pilot test too, don't you?
Did I not? Oh, is this a new one?
No, did you actually make one?
Yeah, you can make one.
You didn't make one.
Oh, we didn't actually get to that yet.
Yeah, we did. Durrell just made his pilot test.
I mean, we only just got there.
Yeah.
I made another pilot check earlier.
Uh-huh.
You did. But I was going to assume that the Shrieker is not actually in the combat. Unless needed.
Screw it up. I might be out of position or something. Not that, I want to do that to myself.
What the heck?
Or I'll just waste that.
Another 4. This is totally going to bite us in the butt, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're going to fail and get shot.
Well, Durrell has rolled 2 criticals tonight, and now Nim has rolled a critical. And ironically, the 2 of the criticals were pilot tests.
Alright, so you're doing a ballistic attack?
Yeah, but I'm not sure what the velocity is on this thing. It would
Super
probably
fast.
have to be like a super missile.
So, I think the base relative velocity you're in close is 1.
Yeah, according to that table on 59, page 59.
Alright, so the relative.
Firing yep. So then raise it up to the minimum. So it's either 50 or 100. I don't know why it's 50 or 100.
We'll say 50.
Use the first lower value if the target is at point blank or short range, or if the attacking spacecraft's last turn's maneuver was to retreat. So I guess we use the... Wait, we're at close. Why is it point blank or short range? Because what about close?
Or maybe that's point blank to short range.
It legitimately says point blank or short range. And now I'm super paranoid that I screwed up my
Bug.
my ranger or my range stuff there and got the wrong ranges.
In any case, that is going to hit this turn. So, Durrell, you can roll your...
skill is artillery guided missile for missiles or artillery cannon for guns. We add the target SM. So you said that's 5?
Minus... No, you don't actually have range for guided missiles.
Add the attacking gun or missiles S accuracy, page 68.
Is this Durrell who's firing guided missiles?
It is
You're
Durrell.
the only one that actually has it.
And so +5 for size modifier 5.
What is the... Okay, so it says page 68 for the accuracy depends on tech level. So for example, a TL-12 missile has accuracy at 5, and this is going to be an 11. TL-11, right?
Correct.
So what is an 11?
It is a 20 centimeter as well. So
Okay, TL minus
11
8.
minus 8. So +3.
Do you not
So-
have the spacecrafts thing, Nosh?
I do not.
I'm gonna try to copy that then.
And range would be -4.
So you're -4 for range. You're +9. No, sorry, +7 for
SM.
no +8
handling.
for size modifier and accuracy. So you're at
Consider
+4.
streamlined target.
Yes.
-1 if attacking is front or rear hull, and that's probably what is likely happening. Do they
Okay.
have any defensive ECM?
They do not.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so
Right.
they have to dodge.
Roll if dodge. Piloting skill divided by 2 plus handling plus dodge modifiers, which that is going to be nothing in this case because they didn't do any of those tactics. The
Did
turn
you
length
not,
is 20.
Did you not do the
You're
tactic
right.
thing?
You are correct. So that's going to reduce it by 1, maybe? Let me double check.
Yeah, so it reduces their
Base
dodge by 1.
tactics, yes.
So that's going to be plus the handlings. So their dodge is 8
Here's
minus
where,
1.
Combat reflexes.
here's where
Combat
Ronnke rolls a
reflexes.
3. Yeah, if they have combat reflexes, that does apply.
Okay, so their dodge is going to be 8 after your -1 penalty. Are you firing both missiles or one?
Oh, wow. Why not both?
Here's where Ronnke rolls a 3. Well, or not.
I forgot to put the ads in there, the mods.
Do you have to roll twice?
I don't know. Do I?
I'll assume not.
All right.
No, it depends on the rate of fire. 2 to 4
So,
shots is +0 bonus. Score 1 extra hit per recoil, for a multiple recoil.
Alright, so you succeeded by a lot,
Recoils one of
so
their missiles.
both missiles would have hit.
What kind of damage are we talking here?
Jim's like, that's a good question. Let's take 5.
Nuclear.
That would be about right, wouldn't it? We go, whoops.
Well, you don't actually have... You're not actually doing damage because you're using
Yeah.
surge. I don't think the spaceships actually has ion.
Well, I suppose the
weapons.
GM has to make a decision here about whether or not it's going to succeed or is able to succeed or not, because they both hit.
Let's do this.
I don't see ion on there. I am glad that second roll was not your dodge, because that would have meant that both of those missiles missed. And then we would have just, lost it and laughed.
Alright, so we will assume that that has... I don't know what the damage is for ion weapons, exactly how that works. So I'm going to
How
assume that
does
they...
surge work?
Well, these are torpedoes, and they're meant for larger ships.
So your damage is 60 times 5. Actually, no. Wow. 8d
surge-
times 1,000.
If a surge attack does any penetrating damage, the ship must roll versus health. On a failure, make one extra system damage roll in that whole section. Ignore the result if the systems rolled is on blah, blah, blah. A critical failure, all systems in that section except those mentioned above are disabled. Oh, so we do have to do actual damage.
All right, so the damage of the missile is 8d times 1,000.
Okay, I'm going to go 8D and we'll multiply.
Oh, no, you should totally spin up a thing just to see what it looks like. Quick combat thing. That's
Crap.
a lot of damage. That's a 32. Holy crap.
Is that for one missile or both?
That's for one missile. We may realize that, oops, these things were a little overamped. Because Daniel
I think you
was
overdid
right.
it, Master.
Yeah, because Daniel was right. These things are designed for like taking out capital ships, and it's like, oh,
Does it have shields?
not anymore.
It does have shields, but no, not anywhere near that sort of value.
Oh man, we blew it up on accident.
No, because ion don't do damage.
That would have been so funny, though.
Actually, now did it just put enough electricity through that thing that it killed the
Killed
pilots?
the entire crew.
That would be interesting. In any case, you fire your missiles and they will disable the ship, except it gets to fire back at you.
They have a lot of weapons.
They only have one weapon that can fire backwards, though.
And it's small.
It is small. Where's my thing?
Yeah, although I know we looked at that last time and it said it had all these guns on it, but I kind of wonder if they're not personal scale.
No, you can actually. Where's the image?
Okay, it's 4d divided by 5 damage. Rate of fire of 1. So they will shoot at you. They're at the same range penalty, so -4. Size modifier, so they're going to be at +1. And the accuracy of their weapon is... Where's the accuracy table? 0. Is that right? Max 0. Okay. That's still going to be a hit. So Darryl may attempt to dodge. That dodge is at your pilot skill halved. Round down.
Any mods?
You will get the handling of
You
your
have
ship.
combat reflexes?
Okay, so handling and anything else?
Defensive ECM. How many systems does this thing have?
1. So
that's an additional +1. Do you have combat reflexes, Nosh?
he
Nope.
does not. What's your pilot skill?
15.
So 7 plus 2, 9 plus 1 for your ECM.
10.
So 10. You have a dodge of 10.
That's a pretty decent dodge for a vehicle.
Wow. Right on the money.
Just
So-
made it is made it.
Imperial weapons are green. So there's pew, pew, pew of laser fire that sort of heads in your direction. And you just, list slowly to the right
He's yeah, okay, with success by 0. Yeah, he's like, eh.
And it'll miss. And I guess that will end the space combat portion of
Yeah,
this,
they
since they will
shoot.
be.
They shoot, and then his torpedoes slam into it.
And the shuttle will begin to drift.
All right, Nim, I need you to put me in position.
All right, I can close all these now.
You know, using Star Wars rules, it's disabled. Using GURPS rules, I am fairly certain that thing is destroyed.
Space junk.
It's never coming back.
Actually, there might be ion weapons in some of the other Spaceships books.
Well, what does surge damage actually do in GURPS terms? I don't recall.
Scroll up. I posted it in there.
Did you?
But it's
right.
just like any damage that gets through causes the electrical. So it is presuming actual damage.
Right. Well, as much surge damage as we did to that thing, there's probably not an electronic device on that ship that's at all serviceable at this point.
Yeah, that's going to be bad for us as well.
Tina can fix stuff. She fixed your Arc Fighter in a couple of hours.
Yeah, she's not magic.
I have my dice back, so this could take a while.
She's like, I think I got it. I think I got it. Kaboom.
All right, so now I need to bring up this one.
But yeah, I would be kind of curious of just the amount of electrical damage. How many of these people are still even alive? Yeah, you can see some of the weapon systems on this thing, Daniel. It's like, you got here, well, obviously here, and then you've got these that fold forward when the wings are down.
Yeah, I remember some of those.
Okay. This is the ship. It is drifting in space, and it is unlikely to be going anywhere. I assume the escape pod's probably even disabled as well with the amount of damage you just did to it.
All right, so first question. Where do we dock with this thing?
It
Can
doesn't have docking capabilities.
I'm gonna have to do free fall.
The hell kind of shuttle is that? Okay, where's
Kind
the
of
entrance?
land.
Then? Is there any entrance other than the ramp?
The ramp is the only entrance.
Hell, design this thing.
People that were not expecting it to be boarded.
Sienna Systems.
Okay, so then at this point, where does luck want me to put him?
Well, I think the only way I can enter is through 7.
So give me a pilot roll for Nim.
So we'll just match up as close as we can.
This is going to be interesting. Oh crap! I thought my free fall was higher than 12.
Well, apparently I needed the extra help.
All right, well, Luck, are you the only one going in?
I can back you up if you can get the damn ramp down.
At least initially, it looks like. So I guess I got a free fall.
Let's do this. I'm going to do health rolls.
Actually, why don't I go with you? Because I'm probably better for getting the ramp down.
Okay.
And
both
then
of us have mag grapples, so we can jump out.
Yeah. Well, I've also got actual vac suit and aerobatics.
I have a body.
I guess that should be
glove and
astrobatics.
some armor. That guy's dead. That guy's not dead.
All right, so apparently one of the stormtroopers was zapped.
And the other barely made it, so he's probably kind of wonky, at least initially. Right, so I guess you need free fall tests or checks from Luck and Nim.
Yes.
All right, so Luck's intention is to get close enough to use his great job, Daniel. To use his mag grapple. But he succeeded by 2.
What is the result of failure here?
The expense.
I think you feel nauseated.
Oh, this is that. God. Yeah, I don't need that.
Let's see. Roll against the higher of health or free fall. Okay, yeah, that would have been the same. When you enter, see space adaption for the failure.
Right. This isn't actually a maneuvering thing. Okay, sorted. Right, hate to waste on that. Okay, now we gotta get the door open.
All right, since all its systems are knocked out, you're going to need a new power coupling, because power converter.
Right.
So I will assume a
Probably thought of that.
mechanic spaceship seems like a suitable role to manually open the hatch.
Of course you're gonna do that.
You've got that, don't you?
Well, yeah, but that's not.
I suppose you could also use pilot. Pilot or mechanic.
Is that IQ based or Dex based?
It would be IQ based, I imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I hope we're not in any hurry.
Well, we probably want to move as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
actually,
we also want to get in.
I'm also sitting here now thinking, yeah, it's actually probably. I'm thinking of what would Luck have ended up doing here. He would have probably had to break out his freaking vibro weapon and cut through it. Or plant some explosives.
Right. How much extra time? So, if we treat this like a lockpick, that's a minute base.
Yep. I will assume you have as much time, so you can take as much time up to +5, but you don't need to actually declare how much time you're taking. You'll just keep working on it till you either get it or you can't get it at all.
I'm gonna say I'm taking this slow because I don't have good expectation about this. So
I have faith in you.
Apparently it was easier than I expected.
All right. Well, you will eventually get that open. And you can situate yourselves sort of where luck is, but you guys are still going to be on the outside.
Well, once it goes open, I'm going in. You guys
So
got
I'm
the
gonna.
grid turned on. Is that intentional?
Actually, I'll turn it off.
It's fine.
So Nema's gonna stay outside until Luck calls him in, and he will be taking full cover to the side of the ramp.
Okay. So, Luck, there will be
Ooh,
a
question. This is Star Wars. Can we hear?
No. I don't think you can actually hear in Star Wars either.
It depends.
All right, so there is a stormtrooper that is there, ready and waiting. He will open fire at you.
As
Surprising
expected.
no one.
All right, so -2 for the range plus the yeah, that's all hits.
All right. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to burn a point to take a flesh wound.
All right, so you will.
Wait. Hold on. Let me think that through.
Let me roll the damage first. I'm only rolling it once.
No, I'm also. I have defensive luck, but it's an 11.
Well,
I'll just end up burning the point to.
Burning a point.
Yeah.
That would have been your damage.
And we had determined that if you're doing center mass, that 12 is the cutoff point. So that would have been some pretty solid damage.
Yes. All right. So you burn a point. You take 1 damage.
All right. So he is going to advance in and shoot.
I'll assume -2 cover.
Okay. So he's got -2.
Yes. Yes, we'll do. Show these guys.
Damn it. I don't know why my brain is struggling. Okay, so
We will have to assume 0G, so your weapon skill is going to be capped by your
it
free fall.
actually is not because it's a beam weapon. I did actually look that up. It says beam weapons are immune to that unless they are they have recoil of higher than 1 or 2.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I didn't know that. I've learned something new today. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna take the shots.
All right, so 2 will hit.
All right.
Wow.
That is some shite damage. That doesn't even get through his armor.
You rolled shite damage twice.
I know.
Do you want to use your luck?
I can't for that. It is defensive and aspected combat.
Okay.
So I could re-roll. I could force someone to re-roll an attack. I could re-roll a dodge, but I can't do the that sort of thing.
All right. He no longer has aim or anything like that, so he's just going to shoot. At -2, that's a fail. So pew 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 in typical stormtrooper fashion. Blaster bolts fly all around you.
But he still does have the cover.
He will still have the cover, yes.
Meanwhile, I'm like doing a proper stormtrooper thing here and advancing in without any cover.
You are in 0G, so I'm happy for you to use that to your advantage. So, propel yourself forward and you just drift or whatever.
Not really super. I mean, I've only got a free fall at 12, so he's not. And I don't have that. I don't remember what it was called. The thingy, maneuver acrobatics thing.
Astrobatics.
Right.
Astrobatics.
Well, it's your roll or your turn.
All right. Outstanding. That is a success by 5.
Actually, Nim goes.
Captain Torso.
Nim is before you. Is Nim
Nim's
doing anything? He's
holding
just holding.
position Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Oh man!
This guy wants you
Freaking
dead.
3. I know, right? He needs to stop that.
Ah, damn it. That's not defense. You can't make him re-roll that.
Nope.
This is Captain Phasma to be.
Wait, yeah, but she was useless.
She just got chucked over the ledge.
Yeah. All right. Well, he's gonna keep his cover and try again. Rolling on 12, so that will succeed. 2 hits.
Denied.
Okay. You dodge, survive. Actually, that would have been 3 hits, but that's still a successful dodge of all 3. Because the range is 1 less.
Then it goes to Nim. If Nim is doing anything, and I'm
Holding position.
checking something really quickly. I am looking at the close quarters. Oh, okay. So if I'm looking at the close quarters battle skill, if you have that maxed out, does it get rid of the penalty for shooting on the move?
I think you're still gonna get the base -2.
Or bulk? Okay.
Yeah, I think it just lowers the bulk penalty, not the.
Right.
Well,
yeah, that's fine.
it can cancel it out. It can cancel it out because when you shoot on the move, it is your bulk penalty or
Right.
-2.
No, it is or -2, whichever is greater.
Yeah, and I have the skill maxed out.
Right. Which
So-
means that the -2 is going to be greater.
So you shouldn't have any penalty.
No, that you should have the -2.
Yeah, okay. That case, he is going to be moving further down in there. Effectively, his penalties are going to be the same, but he's basically trying to maneuver to where he does not have the guy doesn't have the cover. However, I'm still going to have the -2 for the shooting on the move, so I am just going to end up using the same thing. And I have success by 1, potential 2 hits at gaps in the armor.
All right, his luck has run out. Do your damage. Unless you roll shit like you did last time.
Yes, but this is gaps in the armor, which now it's been sufficiently long that I did that. I've got to remind myself how that works.
I think you're divide by. You halve the DR and then you divide by 5.
So that's going to suck a lot. That's 62 divided by
12.
2.
I stand corrected, by the way.
Why did I? So did I get rid of it completely?
You apply the -2 first.
So 12 and then 19.
So that means I wouldn't have had the -2 at all.
That's true.
So that'd have been 3 hits, not 2.
So that's going to be another 12. All right, he doesn't outright die. But that's going to be... What's that? Major wound. He shakes off the major wound.
Oh, hold on. Oh no. Third one is a vital strike.
It's only doubled.
But it's still ×2.
So that's another death roll. Yeah, he's not with us anymore. He's mortally wounded.
Off you go.
All right. So as soon as he falls, I'm going to be like sweeping around for additional targets.
Okay, there is no further additional, or there's no further targets here. You do see a stormtrooper on the ground, obviously knocked out from the torpedoes.
Luck is currently here by himself, so his intolerance Imperials is going to probably kick in, and he's going to coup de grace the unconscious guy, make sure he's dead. And then signal, all right, initial boarding success.
Okay. Keep in mind that if you guys wanted to use their stormtrooper armor as a cover,
that's why you stick the thing in the neck area.
I suppose you could remove his armor and then just execute him.
Well, hell, I'll just remove the helmet. There's a freaking open hatch to space right there.
There are only 2 people here who are going to be wearing an Imperial uniform, and only one of them is probably going to pass as a stormtrooper.
There is a further problem for them. While they might have atmosphere in their cockpit behind that door, as soon as you open that door,
yep,
they're not going to have any protection.
Well,
So once he's like satisfied, Luck is satisfied that's there, he's gonna move up here to this door and instruct Nim via the comms to board.
Okay, I'm wondering if we can repressurize the chamber here.
I was thinking, yeah, you could totally do the exact opposite of what you did.
Well, the thing is, the electronics are out. So we can't push a button and repressurize. We have to do it manually.
So 8 is the lower maintenance hatch. So you'd have to do some climbing in there to repair shit.
Well, I don't think we're in a particular hurry. But
I don't know
we
why,
could
but
also.
I sort of envisioned Bosco or Tina or one of them going, I'm gonna put on my suit and like float over and capture reclaim our shrieker.
Oh, well, I was going to say that since the situation is more or less contained at this point, we could bring in somebody else. So if Tina wanted to come aboard and help out with the repressurization.
Does she have a vac suit though?
I don't know why we would go on this mission without one.
You have one planning point, so if you want to burn that.
Look at that, we got some vac suits.
You have some vac suits.
Old Republic vac suits. So you would look really funny in one, and so would Daryl.
So yeah, because we're gonna need mechanics on board to get the electronics back up and running because we had to fly this back. So we got work to do.
Okay, so who's going on board?
I'm assuming Tina will to start repairs, but do we have like a way to run a line from our ship to the shuttle?
Yeah, we got mag grapples and stuff, and we can rig a safety line, no big deal.
Okay, because Tina does not have free fall or any associated skill that would help her get over there.
We'll just reel her in.
All right, so repairs. You don't have any structural repairs, so it's just emergency repairs. Alright, so it'll take you half an hour to repair this with no penalties.
It's not that bad.
If you want to do it in 10 minutes, you'll be at -3. If you want to do it in 3 minutes, you'll be at -9.
What are we doing? Sorry, I had to step away briefly.
Repairs.
Right.
And I'm going to assume that you will continue to disable their ability to jettison their escape pod.
Absolutely.
Since you successfully rolled for it.
Okay, so is it just a mechanic roll?
Mechanic Starship. If you're taking 30 minutes to do this, or -3 if you're going to do it in 10. Actually, we'll just... Wow. So,
and she rolls a 5.
She got
this.
this.
You said you got your dice back.
So you succeed by 8, so that puts you in the 10-minute. So you will jump into your vac suit, float across via lines or mag grapples or whatever it is that you arrange. You pull that bottom hatch. As you're sort of floating across, you will see 2 bodies of ex-stormtroopers just floating outside.
No, they're still in here. I'm gonna secure them to the seats because we may need the armor.
Okay. So you'll come in and
But
you'll
there
see the
will be, like,
stormtroopers. You'll begin to work. It is... no systems were destroyed or anything like that, so they're only disabled.
Oh wait, no, this is the Tidarium. Unless they keep renaming them. I was wondering. I was like, can we keep it?
You're not allowed to keep it. It'll break continuity. So somehow the Empire has to get this shuttle back.
Well, we could keep it for a while.
That's true. We could, like, maybe.
So you will succeed. You'll be able to get power back to the sections of the ship that you wish to power up. I assume you do that to all sections of the ship as you want. You can repressurize the cargo area. What is your plan?
We're going to make sure that no one is immediately a target. So we'll have 2 shooters on either side of the door with their weapons set to stun. And we will open the door. And presumably these ISB guys are going to have likely armed themselves. And so they're going to probably pop some shots.
We're going to have comms in there, so maybe we should convince them to stand down first.
They're Imperial Security Bureau. They're like...
They're still humans.
Well, the effort can be made. How's that going to be? That's going to be probably intimidation on my part, because it's going to be your 2 troopers are dead. You can surrender and survive or not. And, well...
All right, roll your intimidation.
Actually, I wonder if we can...
Boom! By 7.
What the hell?
wonder if we can just suck the Atmo out of there.
Well, I suppose you could. If they want to be difficult, you could turn off life support in there.
Yeah, I think we may do that.
You could probably be
assuming
doing that,
they don't cooperate.
Well, you could probably be doing that anyway, like, slowly dialing the oxygen
Yeah, that's
content
true.
down while they're because inevitably some of them are going to argue.
All right, so they are going to stand down and surrender.
And that is not what Luck was expecting.
All right.
Well, you did succeed your intimidation by 7. Plus,
He
you
was
have
also not expecting that.
plus threats and venting atmosphere and all that sort of stuff. They don't really have much of an option. And living is a good thing.
Now I have to figure out what the hell do we do with them afterwards.
Well, the GM went to extra effort to make pictures for him, so we should space them.
And then we run into them again and we're like, oh, it's a cloning program.
It is. All ISB agents look like these 2 for some reason.
It's not true. I watched Andor. Some of them look like the sexy evil blonde chick.
Yeah, that's in Andor, but we're pre-Andor.
No,
Actually, we're post-Andor. Yeah, we're post-Andor.
They're in this particular quadrant. They just look like this.
I don't recall. If I mentioned, do you recognize who they're based off?
I think you already pointed them out.
Yeah, we were thinking it looked like Mal and Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
I was thinking Mulder and Scully. investigators.
Also,
With with the hair, absolutely, it's Mulder and Scully. She's a lot shorter than he is. He has this tendency to believe, outlandish crap. Like maybe it was the Force.
Well, the images are based off Fillion and Johansson, but these two are Mulder and Scully.
Damn it. I just remembered. I still need to get one of those Gungan energy shields for boarding actions.
All right, so they will surrender. They will remove their sidearms and hand them to you. Grip first. And Mulder will say, "What do you intend to do with us?"
That's going to depend on you.
I don't think I
suppose we
need.
could just-
I don't think I need to remind you of the seriousness of the crime you are committing right now.
Well, no. These guys are going to recognize us.
Does Bosco have any fun stuff that can make their memories go wonky?
Oh, he's got lots of fun stuff.
Well, you don't necessarily need to kill them. You can take them prisoner and turn them over to the rebels. I'm sure the
Who will kill them?
the resistance would love to interrogate them.
That's absolutely what I would probably end up wanting to do.
I imagine they would be
Well.
quite a valuable intelligence asset.
If we're not, I hate to say it this way because I know I'm tempting fate here, but if we're not expecting them to go back to the Empire at some point, then we could go ahead and just tell them exactly what we're doing.
You have codes we want.
Before we give you anything, we want some assurances that we will not simply be executed and dumped into space.
You're under a misapprehension that you're in charge here. We can do this the easy way or the Imperial way. Your choice.
Then, at this point, so you're giving us no assurances? I guess it's not in our interest to help you at all.
I am looking at my stuffs here.
Does Luck have temper or anything like that?
He does not, but he does have intolerant imps.
Well, we do have other people here who do talking.
Can Bosco like good cop?
Luck doesn't necessarily need to take the lead on that.
Oh, there is also in here 2 officers. There's a pilot and co-pilot.
Yeah, the talkers could feel free to jump in and, keep prevent me from just going, you know what, and shooting one of the officers in the face.
Hey, buddy. Come on. Don't listen. My friend here, he's under a lot of stress. Why don't you just help us out?
We're not your
Everything
buddy.
will be just fine. Well, that may be true. But, we really do want what's best for all of us here. Can I try, diplomacy?
Sure, what's your
Guess
angle
that would
though?
be appropriate. Give and take
angle
is
is-
you don't die and you give us info.
Wouldn't that be more intimidation if you're threatening?
I'm not
Life.
threatening. I'm using diplomacy.
Yeah, they wanted assurances that they're not going to die, so give assurances, get info.
All right, you can make a roll on your diplomacy.
Okay. Let me figure out how to do this again.
You can either single click the dice or you can double click your skill level on your skills.
So it's just occurred to me. Am I the only one that's actually used flesh wounds in this?
You're the only one that's getting shot.
Yeah, I think you
I
are.
think you are.
So,
Man,
I think
where the
somebody
heck
else
is my
had used it.
team?
I think
No,
Darryl.
somebody else had used it.
Darryl used it.
Ah, there's my team. It's me and Daryl. Everybody else slacking off in the back.
Pioneers take the blasters.
Tina's like, I just fix things.
All right, I think I figured it out.
All right, so what is your angle? Your angle is like, if you give us information, you'll live.
I don't know how
That's what
gonna
you're
interpret
trying
it,
to
but,
offer them.
but my angle is diplomacy. So I'm not threatening them. I'm not trying to intimidate. I'm just trying to be nice. Hey, come on, guys, help us out.
Well, diplomacy is negotiating a situation. So they're saying, we're willing to be a little bit cooperative if you assure us that we're not going to just simply be killed.
You have
Well, they're
my word
implying
that I
that.
will not kill you.
We're not that silly. You may not. But what about the rest of your cohort here?
Luck is that guy.
Nobody here will kill you. Bosco really believes that.
Is that a lie? Or are you being genuinely
No.
truthful?
You could probably even go so far as to say that you will be taken to the planet. Although they won't necessarily be released.
All right, so you will have a good reaction with them.
You just rolled openly again.
That's okay. You either know or don't know whether they're going to operate. So they will at least talk. You still need to do interrogation rolls if you intend to get information from them that they're not willing to hand over. And things like codes and stuff is the sort of thing they're not willing to hand over. But they're at least cooperating to a degree.
That's not cooperating.
They will answer questions, but they won't necessarily give you they won't give you codes. That is an interrogation role. So instead of the ISB investigator number 4521, they will talk. and they'll be forthcoming with general information. You are at, I think you're -5 on stuff that goes against their ideals and such.
So their loyalty is very good or excellent.
Yes.
However, do we get the +3 severe threats bonus? Because they can clearly tell that Luck has no problem shooting them.
Yes, you will get that bonus.
Right. Who actually has the interrogation skill? Is that not Bosco?
I think Bosco has it, yes.
I have it at level, I got it at level 10.
Just 10? Did you
got it on
did you not
default.
put any points in it?
No, he didn't put points in it because he's not really that kind of a guy. But I think he's turning into that kind of a guy.
All right, so you're still rolling on default.
Great. That's going to be against an
Intimidation
8.
-3.
That's going to be a fail by 1. Oh, right. That's a quick contest.
And you're asking for codes, right?
I'm asking for an easy question. What's an easy question first?
Well, I think the better question here is, what do we need to know? So we need access codes so we can actually fly in. We probably need to know who they were reporting to, because we're going to have to impersonate them effectively. I guess we need to know whether or not we can impersonate them or whether we're going to have to come up with a different plan.
Do you want to write down these questions? Because each question is a roll.
I'm just brainstorming.
Still might be a good idea to write the questions down, though. Because you're going to get to number 6, and we're going to go, wait, what was number 1 again?
The codes, mission, or what?
You could combine the other 2 that I mentioned into one, really, and that is, what do we need to know to impersonate you?
Identity. So starting with identity might be the thing. So it's like, okay, we're all friendly here. What's your name? What's your rank? What's your security level?
I suppose protocols, as far as picking up the prisoner.
Um,
Kind of falls into the same bandwidth there, but
that sort of stuff they'll freely give due to your diplomacy. So, your protocols, their names, and such. Codes is definitely something that you're going to have to interrogate. They will tell you that they're en route to Fantine to pick up a resistance prisoner, and that prisoner is to be delivered to Moff Panaka.
can we think of anything else we need to know?
Not off the top of my head, I can't. I'm certain there's something that's like super obvious, and my brain just isn't clicking on it.
Is there anything that Tina could get, like from the ship's computers, that would supplement the information that we get from them.
You can get their personnel file maybe, and their records, psychiatric evaluation, all that stuff.
That's not
No,
gonna
that's
go
not
in
going to be in the shuttle.
Now you could check the flight logs and see where they came from in case a question comes up in that regard. So we get there, we're flying in, they challenge us, we give them the code, they let us in. We land where they're supposed to. We go in and talk to somebody, say we're here to pick up the prisoner. They bring the prisoner,
from cell
we
block
take him
1138.
back. Now, where did I just make an assumption? Making an assumption they're bringing the prisoner to us.
Damn, you just saying that, and then I remembered you had asked the question elsewhere. It's like, what would Andor do? That's when Andor would have struck. The shuttle. He would have let the shuttle land.
Mm-hmm.
These guys would have come out there. They would have exchanged some stuff, and then some guys would have walked the prisoner out toward him, and he would have sniped the prisoner.
Yeah, well, if something goes bad, we're going to have to be ready to do that.
Yeah, that would have actually dealt with your prisoner issue.
But at the same time, I don't think any of us are callous enough to necessarily do that.
Yeah, we're not quite there yet.
Luck is probably the person who would be the hardest, who'd be most likely to do something like that. But even then, he's like, no, he doesn't like that.
Well, yeah, his backstory is he decided not to assassinate somebody.
Yep.
Okay, well, it sounds like all the basic points of the plan here is covered. So
Except you don't have codes yet.
accepting the codes.
Actually, no, you might have. So what was the final bonus penalty on the interrogation roll after you factor everything in?
-5 for their loyalty, +3 with severe threats. So that's -2.
Okay, so they have resisted that particular
we can
line
also
of questioning.
have the time spent on that too.
So you've got potentially half an hour.
True. For a lengthy interrogation over 2 hours, that's a +2.
And can I use some drugs?
You can
Yeah.
also use drugs.
If you have drugs.
They may not be willing to participate in that.
Well, I don't know, for administering the drug.
He's super awesome with this stuff. He's turned it into a spray.
It's called credit line. They become trusting and talkative. They must roll health
I guess
-3.
If it's a dart gun of some kind, you can just shoot them and they'll only momentarily be bothered about it.
Okay. Do I need to roll for shooting?
Well, I'm going to assume, they are your prisoners. They can resist as much as they like, but eventually
we're going to secure them too.
Yeah, you could just stun them and then inject them. So,
that's true.
Yeah, no need for rolls. I'll just assume if you're going to use the drugs, you can use the drugs. So what is it? A health minus what?
Health -3 to resist. Or they suffer a gullibility disadvantage to become trusting and talkative.
Well, one of them is awesome.
And we can keep the prisoners separate for interrogations.
All right, so one resists the
Wow. Can I make
Mm.
them roll that using my luck? Reroll?
Sure. Damn you.
Nice. You're like, oh, you rolled a 3? Roll it again.
So you're using your
Twice.
luck? All right, so
He's still pretty good.
no, the 11 will be a fail because it's -3, right? Health -3.
Oh yeah, -3.
Oh wait, they're fit, so they succeed.
I'm gonna like up the dose next time.
Well, that's just one of them, right?
Yeah, the other one failed.
Man, Wikipedia is not giving me the information I want on this lambda.
Well, we only need one of them to give us the code.
Let's see.
Wikipedia isn't telling me what is in number 15, which is a weapon/storage locker.
I assume it would be any weapons that are put mission dependent stuff. So generally it would be empty unless there's a mission that requires arms.
I was just hoping they'd had a this is the default. This is what is generally in these.
I'm going to roll a d6. Odds, it's the guy. Evens, it's the girl. So it is the girl that has been drugged. The guy has resisted.
He thinks you're pretty, Bosco. What is this with you? Picking? Oh wait, this is like a date rape. That's terrible. You're a naughty person.
Oh my god.
All right, so gullible. What's its things for interrogation purposes?
You believe everything you hear. You swallow even the most ridiculous story if it's told with conviction.
Okay, Bosco, give me a fast.
Yeah.
Give me a fast talk roll.
Do I get to add my charisma?
Sure.
Moff Banaka told us that we're taking over for you, so you have to give us your codes so we can go pick up the prisoner.
And your uniforms.
I guess Tina has to stand in for her, doesn't she?
Well, they've got sort of the same hair color. Not quite, but sorta.
All right. He totally buys your story.
She.
Oh, sorry. She totally buys your story.
So
she will give you the codes. They are 1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow, that's the same as my luggage.
So are these codes? I just asked her. Are these good for like how long are they good for? How often do they change them?
I think codes are changed daily.
Can we do, or somebody
But
do like a
it could
body
be an older
language roll?
code, but it checks out.
Like, can we like tell and see if they're lying, like this is a legit code, or if are they trolling?
You can roll detect lies, but you have to roll that in the box.
I do not have detect lies.
Of course, Tina will know that she's been drugged, or that they've both been drugged, and that one of them looks like they're susceptible and the other one doesn't.
As far as you can tell, they're not being deceitful.
But they are intelligence agents.
I wonder if there's a a skill for like counter, like counterintelligence.
You know?
instead of will.
Well, I mean, I think you can use an interrogation as a counter. I'm not sure about that, though. It would make sense. That would be typical of GURPS.
Well,
Same way,
I'm not gonna
I
look
would
at-
expect that you could use detect lies as a counter to detect lies.
Yeah, I may look it up later. But at this point, you have codes. You have they've given you the information that you have been sent from Panaka, or Moff Panaka, to pick up the prisoner and return him to the Moff for further interrogation, since your efforts so far have been, or the efforts of the people on Fantine have been ineffective.
So at this point, we need to secure those two. We need to swap uniforms for the people that need to swap uniforms. And we need to get there. And a couple of us need to get back. So we need to do the thing with the other ships. So I think at this point, Nim and Daryl will probably be the ones to fly back in the fighter. And we'll leave the Shrieker here.
Are you going to shoot it up?
I still think we should probably shoot it up, but I'm not super stuck on that either. What's her name needed a plausible explanation, and them having had a fight out here would be more plausible than just getting jumped. But then again, they did just get jumped.
All right, so explain your plan.
Right, so we got the codes and all. Sorry, I had to step away to go get my food.
So, Nim and Daryl get on the Ark. Tina, Luck, Bosco stay aboard the shuttle.
Right.
Bosco and Tina dress up like the ISB agents. Luck dresses up like a stormtrooper.
Yep. Well, his armor mostly looks like a stormtrooper. I just swap out the helmet.
We're gonna park the Shrieker and shoot it up a little bit, just enough to get some blaster scoring on it, not necessarily destroy it.
It already has blaster scoring on it.
Yeah, some fresher ones. And then the shuttle will go do the mission. What are we going to do with the Arc Fighter? Are we just going to fly back and hope it goes well? I guess there's not a whole lot else we can do.
No, loiter. In case we go crap.
Well,
you can
okay.
do a strafing run. So
fair enough.
With these people, what I'm thinking is, based off of the fact this is an ISB thing. First, we're going to stun them all. In fact, he may just, after we're done, just stun any of them that aren't stunned. I am also presuming that since this is a ISB thing, that they have like prisoner jumpsuits in this place. So we're going to strip the two ISB people, the two officers,
okay.
and such like that, and put them in the jumpsuits. Make sure they're like manacled and in some way that they can't be, where they've. How did they do it in Andor? I'm trying to remember. When he was being
when they were on the shuttle over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was being transported over.
No, I think they had their feet manacled.
Well, feet and hands definitely, but heck, that may be built into this particular shuttle. But we need some reason why they can't talk as well. in case somebody does decide to start poking around. So if nothing else, keep them unconscious. I'm not sure.
Just keep them sedated and say that they were being unruly.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure about. Oh man, I almost want to have Drill and Nim on this as well, but like on the cockpit with the viewport like polarized, because we don't necessarily want to leave the shuttle unoccupied when we're not here. Also, we probably need to have Bosco reach out to our contact guy, the rebel guy.
That is true.
What do you want to contact him about?
He's going to
Hey,
be ready to receive.
We have two. We have potentially 4 ISB agents. Would you like them? Also, a Lambda class shuttle. Although you can't keep that, you're going to have to let the Empire recover it at some point.
Understood. I know. I know the dangers of messing with the timeline.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All right. So, you want to hand over the ISB agents, and
eventually. I don't know if he can necessarily meet us right away. Because if he can, and if he has a couple of dudes who can, like, stand in as stormtroopers as well, then we could theoretically let Nosh and Giger do them in case everything goes to crap.
So Nosh and yeah, Nosh and Giga can be the prisoners.
No, he's saying if we contact Kalen first, hand off the ISB guys, and some of Kalen's guys can come in here and back us up when we go pick up what's his nuts.
I mean, honestly, all they have to do is stand outside the
pretty much
the shuttle on either side of the ramp.
All right. Too easy. Make a roll to see if Kalen's available. And if he is available, it just so happens that Sam Rockwell will be one of the dudes that comes along.
Excellent.
How long's it been since? Oh, he just used his luck though, didn't he? Damn it.
Yeah. I was like, I'm running out of time. Let me use my luck.
We have faith in you.
I don't.
Yeah, those are.
You're fine. Your dice are not.
No, you shouldn't say that to him. You should say that to Mel or Nosh. We like you. We just don't like your dice.
Dice are
okay. So I'm going for Kalen Bree. He's a 9 or less. He's not very. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 50-50 shot.
Look at that.
I am.
All right. Well, he's able to be contacted. What do you require? That's his skill. So you want to hand over the... Well, no, you don't want to hand over the ISB dudes. You want to just get some stand-in stand-ins. So you don't want to... Are you handing over this... If you get some stand-ins, are you going to hand over the ISB guys at the same time? Or do you want to hold them onto them for longer?
Yeah, might as well, because I was only thinking about exactly. I was only thinking about having them sedated and in the back there, operating on the presumption that we were going directly to Fantine and doing the thing immediately. But yeah, if we're gonna link up to him really quickly.
We'd have
Yeah,
another
yeah.
problem if they're there if somebody recognized them.
Exactly. Although nobody should come up into the ship.
All right. He will give you a rendezvous point, and
He's excited to be part of this plan.
he will say 2 ISB agents is quite a haul.
And 2 officers who might also know some stuff.
Well,
We'll even
there's that.
We'll even throw in the shuttle after we're done with it.
He'll give you a rendezvous point. Long story short, you will meet up, and they have you requested 2 people, 2 extras,
Who are 6 foot tall and can wear stormtrooper armor
and fit an Imperial uniform. So you'll get 2 NPCs. One of them looks like Sam Rockwell.
He seems familiar for some reason. I can't put my finger on it.
Are either of them wearing a red shirt?
Which image should I use? I'll use that one.
Yeah, he's got a red undershirt under his stormtrooper body glove.
His name. What's his name? We can't use red skirter or red shirt.
I have to think about that because you have to Star Wars it up.
All right.
It's probably Guy though.
Yeah, it'll be Guy.
Did we? So the ISB agents we have, are we not giving them over? Because Bosco's like thinking that he doesn't really want to.
We're gonna give them
Okay.
over to him.
We don't really want to like watch over them. Like we don't have resources.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Babysit.
I'm just getting his image.
Why are these guys wearing brown and black anyway? They're ISB. They should be in all white.
Don't look too deeply into it. They changed from all white to the brown and black uniform after Andor.
But then they're going to change back before A New Hope. Because you actually see
this
ISB agents on the Death Star.
It's Casual Friday.
Camo.
It's Casual Friday.
They watched Deadpool. They planned ahead. They wore their brown pants.
All right, so you will have 2 guys that will fill in for you. You'll hand over the ISB agents. And I guess, is there anything else that you want from Kalen since you've managed to get hold of him?
Let's see. I don't know. Maybe find out any information he has on the investigator chick. But obviously, it's not something we need to super worry about immediately.
Okay. That will be information that he will have to return to you with.
And maybe suggest that that Panaka needs to be removed.
Apparently he's got people on that job.
I wonder if he can upgrade our shuttle.
What are you talking about? We're
Something
going to
with
give
some-
this shuttle thing to him afterwards.
Oh, are we keeping the Shrieker? Sorry, I missed. I could confuse that part.
No, we left the Shrieker behind.
We might
No.
come back and get it later.
My
Shrieker's like-
thinking was we
yeah.
hand that over to what's her name as evidence, but if she
Oh.
ends up
Yeah.
not needing that, then we could go back and pick it up.
I see. Right. I need to change my helmet. Put the important stuff in this crappy stormtrooper helmet.
No, I think that's a good idea about the Shrieker.
I'm telling you, it's those damn pirates.
But the shuttle, if we do give it to Kalen, I mean, tit for tat. So we'll give him the shuttle, but hey, give us something else.
Yeah. No,
Like-
Kalen's like, hey, since we're done with this mission now, we have a thing where we could really use this shuttle.
Absolutely.
And what we don't know is that goes really badly and everybody on it dies, but the Empire gets their shuttle back.
Or he trades it to some logistics guy for some weapons or something. So it ends up back in the Empire.
What's
Guy
guys?
Red Jumper, that's his name.
Red jumper? Done.
Yeah, they just have it on there. Fortunately, now that we have 2 stand-in guys, that means we're going to have to get into a fight where they die.
But of
You
course,
can't
Sorry,
kill
it's
a
just the
red jumper.
rules. Right, so it'll be the other guy who dies. Other guy who dies.
All right.
Yeah, if you had to cast a second red shirt, who would you use?
All right. Guy red jumper is done. Let me just import him.
Oh, damn it, got it. Sean Bean.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
X.
And you said I couldn't use Sam Rockwell.
I didn't say you couldn't. I was wondering where he was.
It's not actually a bad likeness, that one.
It's not the worst one we've seen. All right then.
Okay.
So we got our backup.
So you've got your 2 extras, Nim and Daryl. Are you going to be posing as prisoners?
Well,
No.
sure. Darrell will pose as a prisoner.
Unless we need me to pose as a prisoner. I don't know why.
Just so you're there.
I guess.
Because you know there's going to be a shootout on the tarmac.
Although Nim is not going to like it all that much. You got to be kidding me.
I don't know. I was
You
sort
are
of
not
thinking
putting me in that.
I was sort of thinking of having them in the ARC 170 sort of loitering, and when the inevitable shootout happens, they do like a flyby.
But then they might have to contend with some TIE fighters. Unless they shoot and bug out.
Oh, we definitely shoot and bug out.
We haven't seen enough TIE fighters, so I love this idea.
Well, you're not the one that's going to be in the fighter.
You're not going to be the one running the combat.
All right. Well, I think that's probably going to be a good place to leave it because I assume, unless there's anything else that you want to do, I assume that we'll pick it up where you begin to pull off your ruse.
Right. So Bosco's going to have to pull his hair back and make it look professional, and so will Tina.
Disguise rolls will work for that.
Yeah. Do we have
disguise and acting.
I think.
Yeah, I don't have either of those.
I think if we don't have a kid in the group, Bosco probably is the guy to need one.
So Bosco has disguise skill at default.
Yeah,
luckily,
a 9.
And luckily for Luck, it seems like all the stormtroopers have that same modulator. So when he speaks, he's just going to sound like a regular stormtrooper instead of a clone.
And Tina has acting, but the only artsy type skill she has is like tattoo art, body art, that kind of thing.
Well, she can get help with that, I presume.
And I guess you can take extra time on the disguise.
Does anybody have a disguise kit?
Yeah, I was just talking about that. And it won't be so bad if we're not trying to impersonate a specific individual.
Well, you will have your Imperial IDs. So I guess you're going to have to do a hacking roll to hack your IDs.
That she can do.
Yep, she can do that and take her time as well to make sure it's done right and proper.
Okay. Suppose you could do hacking and forgery. Alright, so to take your time, you would get up to a +5, so that could be up to a +3 success.
Mm-hmm. She does not have forgery, though.
Can I do forgery as a complementary skill for her?
It sounds like he does.
Sure. Giving you lots of opportunity to spend points on updating skills.
Ouch.
Alright, so you can take extra time too, up to +5, so that would be a +3.
We'll get there.
So I will assume that your IDs will pass a standard sort of scan, but anything more thorough will fail.
If it's more thorough, then we're probably about to start shooting anyway.
Well, you can almost guarantee a shootout on the way out, because that's how Star Wars works.
Yeah, if we're gonna break here and carry over to next time, then Nim and Daril should probably be on the shuttle.
Okay. You guys can, if nothing else, you guys could be like, in the cockpit with the the viewport polarized and the door shut. So if
Well,
nothing
and
else,
we could also be in the back dressed as prisoners and just not be entirely secured, assuming we have to jump up and help.
well, I was thinking it's like if you're in the cockpit and we come rushing out, then you can go up. They need us to shoot to the people that are chasing them.
Yeah, either way.
Cool.
All right. So, any questions or anything we want to take care of before we wrap it up?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
No,
We obviously need to or figure out the space combat a little better, but that's fine. How many times have we used it in this many years since it came out?
I think if we did another round, it would have been a lot faster. There's not that much to it.
What I seem to recall finding.
But apparently, you nuked this shuttle.
Yeah, I would like to see just how much damage that actually would have done. And again, then we don't have the shuttle stats.
Yes, we do.
We don't.
Yeah, but are
We
they
should.
accurate?
Of course not. Lambda class shuttle strength. It doesn't have.
Yeah,
what's
it doesn't
the
have
DR
20
5/20?
hit points.
So the shields are 20.
Oh my
DR is 5.
Yes. Yeah, the first missile destroyed that thing. I mean, it didn't just mess it up; it destroyed it.
So was it 5 times?
That seems awfully low.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, that's definitely not the right hit points.
Let me look because I know I know in
It's based off the size modifier.
No, maybe.
And the size modifier is only +5.
Yeah, unless it's using a different scale.
Yeah, because the size 5 is like 20 hit points. Sounds about right.
That's 20 hit points D scale, so 200 actual hit points.
D-scale.
So Starships 2 has the Alpha shuttlecraft, which that has 20. That's TL11.
Because it's based off size modifier. You can get more hit points for. There are modules that you can add to increase your hit points.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's all kind of relative because the size 5, it's kind of assuming you're going to be fighting other size 5-ish things, and that would be enough to last a few rounds, potentially.
Then the next question is:
where did you get
the torpedo damage correct, or was that also some kind of scaling issue?
What was what is it? It's a missile launcher. 20? No, wait.
It's a 20 centimeter missile.
Okay, so the conventional damage for 20 is 6D times 5 using the D damage.
Right.
Are you sure?
Starship
Actually, no.
68.
So 60 times 5 is going to average to 50 points.
Well, that's the conventional warhead.
Right.
Which I guess if it's just doing conventional surge, then that could have. So 50.
I mean,
Actually,
Divided
no.
by 20, that's 30. That's still 10 points under. That's still negative 10.
Yeah, it is 60 60 multiplied by 5. I messed up in my spaceships spreadsheet.
Right. Okay. So that's slightly. That means that does make a lot more sense. So it
That
would've
was a
probably
100
gone through
kiloton
stuff.
nuke.
Holy crap, dude! So I guess Loophole said, hey, they'll never notice the difference, and he was right. We didn't.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they
you
would have been able
expect.
to use like dodging and then point defense to blow missiles out of the air. And then let's say one of them hits, they had
I don't think they could use point defense because the gunner actually shot at you.
That is correct.
To use point defense, you have to have not used the weapon for attack.
I think you can because it's but maybe it's on a
Actually,
different scale.
no, there might actually be penalties if you're doing attacking and point defense at the same time. But anyway. So the damage was significantly less. But yeah. That would have still beaten their shields and beaten their DR, so this, yeah, the end result would have been the same.
So
Yeah, but it wouldn't
35,
have
50 minus
completely-
25.
Yeah, it
Wouldn't have completely nuked it.
Wiped them out the way the other one did.
We would have hit like their forward hull section or their
It'd have
middle
been
hull
aft hull.
section,
It'd have been
and
after.
then we would have destroyed one of their systems potentially.
Which could have sucked. Could have been like, oh crap, there goes the engine. There goes the other one. You're doing fine, Topper. Moral of the story, don't get hit by those.
All right. So anything else?
Negative.
No. Not yet. I'm thinking. I can't think of anything.
All right. Not a problem. Then I shall go to my outro. So, everyone, it's 2 points. If you're watching this and you have any questions, corrections, suggestions, or general hecklings, feel
We
free
expect lots of corrections.
to leave a comment here or find us on Discord. Please consider liking and subscribing to our YouTube and Twitch channels. Thank you for watching. Olympus out.
Also,
Shut up.